After the response to our last Riddles video from a few months ago, we've decided to share some more of our favorite riddles from across the internet. We'll be starting off with simpler riddles before moving on to more challenging logic puzzles that are sure to get you thinking. You'll have 15 seconds to work out the answers to each question, but obviously feel free to pause if you need the extra time. There's no shame in it. You're watching Top Trending, and today we are counting down some more riddles only geniuses can solve. Let's kick off this list by including two riddles grouped by the theme of starving lions. The first riddle is as follows. You're trapped in a room with two doors leading to an exit. The problem is both of these doors have their own unique challenges behind them. Behind the first door, the room is filled with lava. You can't use any object in the room to cross. Behind the second is a room filled with trained assassins, waiting to kill you at a moment's notice. Behind the third, man-eating lions that haven't been fed in months. Which of these doors should you pick? Does it even matter? The second riddle in this theme is the following. You're trapped in a room located outside. There's a hole sealed by unbreakable glass in the ceiling. Your way out is through one of two doors. Similar to our last riddle, a room filled with hungry lions that will kill you the second you enter the room. And the other is a tunnel that will amplify the heat from the sun, killing you the instant you open the door. Yes, both are implausible, but stick with us. Suspension of disbelief is part of the fun. We'll give you 15 seconds to consider these two riddles and come up with a solution. If you watched our last video, you might remember conundra, riddles relying on information hidden within the question. The same thing is going on here for the first solution. If the lions in the room haven't eaten in 3 months, of course they wouldn't be alive in order to eat you. Sorry if you missed that one, you won't get caught out by it again. There's no starvation-related trickery going on with the second, though you can use common sense and information contained within the question to work out the answer to that one. In the second riddle, you're confronted with two doors, a pack of lions that want to eat you, and a metallic tunnel that can amplify the light from the sun. Using the glass hole in the ceiling of the room, you should be able to determine when nightfall is, and use the lack of sun to make your escape. Our number 4 spot goes to a riddle you've probably heard countless times, but may still not know the answer to. In two doors, two guards, you're a prisoner in a room with said number of doors and guards, where one door will lead you to freedom and the other will lead to your execution. One guard will answer one question you have truthfully, and the other will lie in response. You don't know which door is which, nor do you know which guard is which. You have to choose and open one of the doors, but can only have one question of yours answered by the guards. What question should you ask to find the door that leads to your freedom? We'll give you 15 seconds to work out the answer. Let's just say for the sake of the solution that door A is safe and door B is not. The question you should ask is, if I ask the other guard which door leads to death, what would he say? If you ask the guard who lies, he would say in response, the other guard would tell you that door A is the door that leads to your death. In this scenario, you could work out that door B must be the door that leads to your death, as obviously the guard would be lying to you. Similarly, if you were to ask the guard who tells the truth, you'd get the reply the other guard would tell you that door A is the door that leads to your death. In both of these scenarios, you could take door A safely. It's confusing because it involves using two lies to make a truth, but choosing the door that allegedly the other would say is dangerous would guarantee you freedom. Number 3 on our list is Daniel Griller's buried treasure riddle. Having saved the washed-up 5-membered crew of the loathsome pirate Greenbeard, they want to show you their gratitude by telling you the location of their former captain's treasure. After they tried to mutiny against Greenbeard, he tied them up on an island, each on a different tree. The island where they were tied up was luckily enough the exact same island where Greenbeard buried his treasure. The problem is no one can agree on one particular account of the island when they go to describe it to you. The crew all claim they could see a different number of trees depending on where they were tied up, ranging from 2 to 6. They could look around them while tied up, but not move. One thing is for certain, however. The pirate who could see only 2 trees had the treasure buried at his feet. When you go to look for an island that might match their description, you come across hundreds of tiny islands in the area they were tied up in, each with exactly 6 trees of equal height. All of the islands are flat and don't have any other obstructions aside from trees. You can't search every single island one by one, so you need to find a way to quickly cut down your search. What would the island containing Greenbeard's treasure look like from the sky? And where would the treasure be buried on that island in question? We'll be giving you 15 seconds to try and work it out, but feel free to pause if you need more time. The fact that all 5 of the pirates disagree on the number of trees on the island would suggest that the view was obstructed for all but one of the pirates on the island. And as there are no other obstructions aside from trees, the trees must be arranged in a way that block the view to some extent of all but the pirate who could see 6 trees. So any pirate that could see fewer trees was simply tied up in a way where they were in line with 2 or more trees, which would appear to them as being just 1 tree. So in order to find the island with the buried treasure on it, you'd need to find the island where it is possible to see 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 trees depending on your standing position. On every island you can see 6 trees from a certain position, and you can see only 5 by standing in line with 2 of them. On most islands, that is. A straight line of trees wouldn't work, as it's impossible to see only 3, 4, or 5 trees, though it would be possible to see 2 and 6 trees from this angle. The answer to this riddle would be to find the island where there would be 2 non-parallel lines of trees. The point at which these lines of trees would intersect is the position from where you could see 2, and there are many combinations from which you could see 3, 4, and 5 trees too. As the pirate who could only see 2 trees claims to have had the treasure buried at his feet, simply search in the intersection to find the treasure. At number 2, we have a logic puzzle about 2 friends, Mark and Rose. Mark and Rose are logicians who boast they are so clever that they can deduce any logic puzzle asked of them in a matter of minutes, if it's possible to work it out at all. Their claim draws the ire of the evil logician, who abducts and imprisons them in his castle to test their logic skills. Both are kept in 2 different cells on opposite ends of the evil logician's castle, so they cannot communicate with each other in any way possible. Both friends' cells don't contain anything useful and cannot be broken out of. Mark's cell has 12 steel bars on his window to his cell, whereas Rose's has 8, making a total of 20 bars. On their first day of imprisonment, the evil logician tells both separately that he has decided to give them a riddle for them to solve. In my castle, there are no bars on any window or door or anything of the sort, aside from the windows on both of your cells, which each contain minimum 1 bar. The evil logician decides to ask Mark and Rose whether there are 18 or 20 bars in his castle. Both Mark and Rose can choose to answer or to pass. If Mark chooses to pass, then the question will be asked to Rose on the same day. If Rose chooses to pass, the question will be asked to Mark on the next day, and so on. If either choose to answer, they must present the correct answer with an explanation of how they did it to be set free. If they answer incorrectly, they will remain prisoners forever. Can they work out the answer to this conundrum using logic? If so, how? If Mark had 18 or 19 bars on his window, he could conclude that there are 20 bars, and Rose must have at least 1 bar. Mark only sees 12, and so decides on passing. Because of this, Rose realized Mark must have seen 17 bars or under, as either 18 or 19 bars would result in Mark answering correctly. If Rose could only see 1 or 2 bars, knowing that 17 plus 2 wouldn't be enough to reach the answer of 20, she could answer, but sees 8 instead, so passed. Mark realizes that Rose must see 3 bars. They can work from this logic of both parties gradually learning more information about what the other can see due to them passing, to on the 5th day allow Mark to answer correctly and set both of them free. To see the full logic of this question, visit the link in the description. Complex, but not impossible. At number 1 on our list, we have the Wizard Standoff riddle by Dan Finkel. The riddle is as follows. You've been chosen to participate in a deadly magic battle against 2 other powerful wizards of your caliber. The first of the foes you'll be facing is from the Newtoniz School, a wizard who boasts a wand that can turn people into fish. The other from Leib Tun School, a witch who can turn people into statues. The catch is, however, both of their spells have a chance of misfiring every time they attempt to cast them. The wizard's wand works 70% of the time, and the witch's a more robust but still fallible 90%. After names are drawn from a hat, it is determined that you will go first, followed by the fish-creating wizard, and lastly the statue-creating witch. All opponents will choose 1 target per turn to cast a spell on, and the order will keep repeating until there is only 1 sorcerer left standing. Anyone who casts out of turn will forfeit the duel, and to ensure the standoff cannot end in a draw, if everyone is left standing at the end of the first round, everyone will be turned into cats. The specifics don't entirely matter, but to recap, you are first to cast a spell. The wizard who has a 70% chance of hitting a target is second, and the witch who has a 90% chance of hitting a target is third. All of you will have to take a turn in order, and you must ensure all 3 of you aren't left standing at the end of the first round. You have a choice of 3 wands, each with their own distinct abilities. 1, the Banneker, suffocates its targets with binds 60% of the time. The other 40% of the shots will miss. The second, the Gaussian, turns its targets into a tree and works 80% of the time. The final wand is the Nether 9000, an incredibly powerful wand which banishes its target to a distant mountaintop 100% of the time. Unless, of course, the caster deliberately misses the shot. Both of your foes will obviously employ strategy in their casting to maximize their own chances of survival. Which wand should you choose? And what strategy should you choose to come out with the greatest chance of emerging without being a fish or statue? One last time, 15 seconds on the clock. Did you get the answer? It's a bit counterintuitive. Most people instinctively will want to go for the Nether 9000. After all, the wand has a 100% success rate, something you'll obviously want to be using in a battle. But just consider what the battle will look like if you were to choose the Nether. You'd obviously want to take care of the most powerful of your foes first, so you'd fire at the Witch with the 90% accuracy rate. But then the Wizard with the 70% accuracy rate would immediately fire at you, the only other challenger left. In this case, you'd have a 30% chance of being the victor of the duel, and a 70% chance of being turned into a fish. Not the best turn of events for you. If, though, you were to take the weakest of the wands, you might just come out of the battle alive. The Banneker with its 60% accuracy rate may sound weak, but if you were to miss deliberately on your first turn, you'd end up with the greatest odds of winning the battle. Let us walk you through it. If you were to miss on your first turn, the second wizard would fire at the Witch, as she's the most powerful opponent between the two of you. Should he miss, she'd almost certainly retaliate with her next turn, being that the wizard has an accuracy rate higher than yours. Then it's back to your turn, and you'd have a 60% chance of winning the battle against either one of the sorcerers. Again, it sounds counterintuitive, but the option that would grant you the second highest chance of winning would be not deliberately missing while still holding the Banneker, which, according to Ted, would grant you a comparably much lower 38.1% chance of winning. And that's our list of the favorite riddles we found. Did you agree with our list? Disagree? Find any particularly easy? Or have suggestions for things we missed over the course of the video? Let us know in the comments section. We'd love to hear from you. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to like, share with friends, and subscribe to Top Trending for more regular countdown videos such as this one.